So, here we are. We're going to go through the first of the self-defense technique videos as far as teaching sword and hammer. We're going to go through this technique first because in a physical school, that's the technique that I would teach as a beginner for self-defense technique out. It has one stance, two weapons, three things to consider as far as what you do in the technique, and it's also the easiest of the self-defense techniques on the yellow belt list. It is for a flanking shoulder grab. Somebody's going to grab your shoulder, pull you in, probably punch you in the face, do something else to you, what have you. So, they're on your right hand side, they're grabbing your shoulder, and well, this is it. So, with that said, the technique teaches a couple of things really, really well. It teaches direct response. Someone's going to do you harm, you do something about it directly. There's no block, there's none of that. It's simply you're checking that hand, which we're going to go into checks more in detail later. You're keeping that hand where it's at, making sure that it's not going to become a problem. You look at your target to make sure that you should be judo chopping somebody who needs judo chopping. And if you don't know what I'm saying with that reference, Google it. It's not really worth it. And it has two weapons in the technique, a hand sword and a hammer fist. We're going to go into that here in a moment. So, as far as a hand sword, all it is this. You've got your hand in a palm, you're hitting with this beefy part of your hand. And you're hitting along the same line as your shoulder. Don't go above it, please. It's not worth it. You're hitting around throat level, as far as for the sake of argument. So as you step out to a horse stance, grab and look, what I want you to do is bring your palm up like you're looking at it. I've written something on my palm, something to that effect. Chop. Throat area, really. And then what I want you to do when you work this technique is bring your arm back at the elbow, or your upper arm back, and hammer fist to the groin. And that's really it. There's one stance. That's why I would teach it first and foremost. There's no real stance change. It's just you're stepping to a horse stance, executing the technique. Now, we're not going to cover cover-outs. I understand that later on we're definitely going to do that as a maneuver, but for right now, you do the technique and you walk away as a beginner. That's it. So, we'll go more into self-defense techniques later, more in detail, but this is really it for right now. Here pretty soon we're going to have another basics video. We're going to be going into a cat stance for the next self-defense technique we're going to teach. But for now, that's sword and hammer, number 10 on the yellow belt list. And see you around.